The National Assembly elections particularly changed the narrative in the country's National Assembly composition, with opposition parties like the Labour Party and the New Nigeria People's Party joining the major opposition People's Democratic Party to clinch enough seats to prevent a dominance by the ruling All Progressives Congress. The Labour Party's 34 seats, NNPP's 18 seats, with the All Progressives Grand Alliance, African Democratic Congress, and the Young Progressive Party's 10 seats, strengthened by the People's Democratic Party's 118 seats, made the opposition parties a force to reckon with before the 10th Assembly inauguration. But expectations from most political analysts that this development will cause an upset during the race for parliament leadership did not happen, as opposition lawmakers ended up queuing behind the ruling party candidates. The reason was not far-fetched. Majority of them were new to the Green Chamber, some having just their first shots at lawmaking. The depth of experience was quite shallow. The ruling APC had done its job, ensuring that it maintained control of the leadership of the House.
Because you are in opposition does not mean that every policy of government, whether right, if it is right, you just have to fight it. And the country in itself is at a very delicate period. So you don't, because of opposition, you want to completely rock the boat.
But over the last couple of months, a close study of the 10th House of Representatives' legislative performance showed an unprecedented number of bills that passed through the first reading in the first 1 year. Records show that as at May 7, 2024, about 1,188 bills have been presented for first reading, the highest since the dawn of the Fourth Republic in the Parliament. A further breakdown shows that 243 of these bills have gone through second reading and considered for passage. But it is interesting to note that 10 of these bills, which are from the executive, have been given accelerated passage without proper scrutiny. One of such is the National Anthem Bill, which passed through the first, second, and third reading in the House in less than an hour.
Our work must be complemented by the President signing the bills into law. Otherwise, all this will turn to fatality. For instance, I have 4 bills and 10 motions. We are determined to grow our parliamentary democracy through public participation and effective legislation. We are bound to record more achievement before the end of the 10th Assembly.
The only major achievement I think they have made is introducing the old national anthem at the time Nigerians are dying of hunger, at the time Nigerians have are suffering from unemployment. And so my question is, this old national anthem they have reintroduced, has it put food on the tables of Nigerians?
Political watchers argue that the 10th House of Representatives has become almost a replica of the 9th Assembly, which was tagged rubber stamp, citing the hurried passage of the 2024 appropriation bill 32 days after it was presented by the President, with allegations of budget padding that followed swept under the carpet.
Our legislators do not consult any person, and most of them go there without understanding. Some of them are warming chairs there. Some of them have never made any contribution.
That we agree with executive policies made for the interest of the people should not be considered as a rubber stamp assembly. No, not at all. We build a strong synergy with the executive for the development of the country. The current realities on ground demand that we work together to formulate laws that will help reposition the country economy.
Critics have also pointed out that the 10th Assembly has not done credibly well in the area of oversight, creating transparency questions on the Assembly. For instance, legislative oversight and meetings with heads of MDAs are mostly done privately without the presence of the media. Even the House spokesperson, who is supposed to be the Chief Transparency Officer, has remained evasive, refusing to respond to calls and text messages from AIT. Another low for the 10th Assembly is a refusal of most lawmakers to attend plenary proceedings. The House plenary has not witnessed two-thirds attendance by members after its inauguration and composition of standing committees, with the usual excuse that it clashes with committee meetings or oversight functions.
Against the challenges that are faced by members, the leadership of various committees, have tried to hold agencies of government accountable. You must understand that oversight functions sometimes depend on the responses from government agencies. But we have, been able to do our best to ensure that Nigerians are not shortchanged.
Today, a motion is sent, a bill is sent to the committee. There is a killing of soldiers in Anambra. There is a killing of soldiers in this state. So if you continue to go and be inspecting all these things, you barely have time to sit. So one of the reasons is that members are not absconding from the sitting. Rather, they are there all over the country working.
The House has had its fair share of controversies. Over 70% of 40 ad hoc committees entrusted with various investigations with a time frame have failed to submit any report for consideration, even though some of the committee's investigations attracted widespread public interest. A breakdown of some of these committees include non-remittances of workers' contributions to the National Housing Fund by the Federal Mortgage Bank, job racketeering in ministries, departments and agencies of government, failure by MDAs to comply with the provisions of the Industrial Training Fund, the Students' Loan, disbursements and usage of funds from the Tertiary Education Fund, among others. The job racketeering ad hoc committee investigation particularly attracted much controversy when allegations emerged from some university vice-chancellors of bribe demands as published by an online newspaper. But when confronted with the allegation, the vice-chancellors recanted. The same scenario played out at the ad hoc committee investigating disbursement and utilization of money from the TED Fund to universities. Nothing has been heard from that investigation since then.
Against all these shortcomings, the leadership of the 10th Assembly has maintained its promise of accountability, transparency, and citizens' engagement through the introduction of sectoral debates and several other summits aimed at drawing input from key players of various sectors of the economy for the development of the country. It's been a learning curve for most members of the 10th Assembly, and there's so much room for improvements. And the coming year is another opportunity to do this. Ogianawe Udwimo, AIT News, Abuja.